Hello all. Well, excuse this, I was working on a sketch for something else. Isn't he cute? It's a little poncho. Just some ideas. I'm trying to start keeping a sketchbook all the time. So, and this is one I got. I don't know what I did with the link or this is what it is. This one. I don't know how I feel about the paper on it. But anyway, we're here to do a Sargent study. Okay, I've got some notes here. Welcome. First of all, thank you for being here. Before I cover it up with the reference image, what I've got here is just some Bristol paper, I believe. No, it's mixed media. This is what it is. I just took a picture or page out of it. I've got two papers here. This one I'm going to use for warm up, and this one is more for the actual study. And then what I've got is vine charcoal. Love this stuff. It looks like I need to get some more. Again, if this is your first time here to a master study and you hear a siren in the background, it's our local fire alarm tornado siren test that they do every Monday at noon. Then I've got a couple of charcoal pencils, two different ones. One is extra soft 6B, just in case, and then this is a 2B. And I've got a pencil sharpener over yonder, over there, that I can grab. Then I've got one of these, which will help sharpen, get it to a finer point if I need it. And this is just a lead holder, and it's got I think it's a 4B in here. I don't know. But anyway, that was more for my sketching anyway, or for my sketchbook. Let me put that over there. What did I do with my... This is going to be a very relaxed one. We're not... Let's see. I'm trying to make sure that my things are set up okay. Taylor Swift is stuck in my brain. Hey, thank you for the lovely bouquet. And then this is just a white vinyl eraser that has gotten very dirty. But this will get rid of things that are a little harder than what the kneaded eraser will do. I love these. I have been needing a new fidget toy, and I don't know why I didn't think of this. These are not new ones, and you can tell because they're so dark. When you first buy these, they're more of they're a lighter gray. Okay. All right, John Singer Sargent. We are going to do... I'm getting the reference image up. This is the image that we're going to use. It is William Sturgis Bigelow. He's an American physician, was an American physician, art collector, and philanthropist. But before we dive into doing this, I have the image here. You have it over there. Before I dive into doing this, I'm going to do a little bit of a warm-up, which is one reason I was using my other sketchbook. I'm looking at and that's why I have an extra sheet. I'm not going to do this for very long, but this is just something that helps get your mind and your muscles going and warmed up. They loosen the hand and quiet the inner critic. I have notes over here. We'll play with gesture, light, and edges, the same language Sargent used to build these elegant portraits. There are a ton of these online. I did post the reference photo in my post section if you want to draw along or if you want to use it. It is in public domain, so have at it. I know some people like to work at the same time. It's not about perfection, it's about seeing like Sargent did. Bold, simplified, and full of life. So I've got a piece of charcoal and scrap paper, and I'm going to shake out the stiffness before we get serious. Think of this stretching before the main dance. He used the side of the charcoal. This one is already flat. I don't know if you can see that on one side, so I'm gonna get one of these. I don't know what softness these are. These were just in my pencil bag. So I'm just gonna make some marks. If you have copy paper, you can use that for this instead of drawing paper. I considered it, and then I was like, well, I've got this right here. So that's some nice. And then you can get some soft grays in here by doing that. Or I've got these blending stumps also that I can use, and they will, so I'm just going to play with that. I haven't done a lot of charcoal drawing for a while, so, and I need to. If you've taken any art classes, you'll know that drawing, especially from life, is very important. I want to stay loose in this as much as I can. Also, I can carve out some light areas. And I'm going to get this all over my hands. I'm not wearing gloves like I usually do when I do the master studies because it's just charcoal. You can shape these erasers so that you can like get an edge, a sharper edge, or you see that didn't quite get that right there. I'm going to try and get it with this. And that gets it a little better. Come on. I have a paintbrush in my bag too. I can use to just sweep those away. And then draw just a simple object really quick, fast. I have a coffee cup sitting here. And this is just kind of to get my eye. And yeah, I know this looks and then I'm going to take my kneaded eraser. And again, this is just warming up. I don't usually do this, but as I said, it's been a while since I've done, but I'm not going to take a long time because I know you're here to see the Sargent. You're not here to see me do this. And then I can take I'm still hearing Taylor Swift in my brain. Usually if I have trouble with something, it's the ellipsis. I don't know what it is about it, but and then just do a, and I said, hey. Got my handle a little thick. I'm not going to worry about it. Since this is just a warm-up. I have a clock here, so I'm not going to, I know I'm not going to spend very long on it. You can see the light kind of coming through the window in here. I did not get out white charcoal, and I see that he has some on this one, on the collar there. Excuse my hot mess of a, someone get out some white charcoal. They call it white charcoal, it's just chalk. That's what it is. I used to love to use this stuff for gray tones. Sorry if that squeaky noise makes you run for the hills. Okay, that's good enough for a tester, just to get warmed up. One reason I did this too was for the lost and found edges, so that like if this was going deeper back here, and I wanted this to fade off into this dark and not be so sharp, I would soften the edges, but then I would keep what's closest to you right here more sharp, or sharp, put it that way, and keep this back here less sharp. That's exaggerated, but you get the idea. Okay, that got me going. That got the juices flowing. Okay. The warm-ups that I just did mimic the thinking process behind Sargent's bold and spontaneous lines. He was not chasing perfection. He was chasing perception. And I'm tried to set this in the right view, or right point on my and I'm just mapping this out really lightly. I'm not putting any pressure on it. Just blocking in. I may regret that mark right there. You've got a mustache. I love the nose on this. It's just very chiseled. It's almost like a sculpture. Just like chipping away at it. That is... He's got a beard, so a lot of this is going to be covered up or blurred. But that's okay. His beard kind of goes out to here. His nose just below his the tip of the nose here, and he's got it just above here, and that's very slight. You don't see a whole lot of it. I'm working from big shapes to smaller shapes. And I know this looks like a hot mess, but you have to trust the process. You just keep working, keep going after details. One year I did 100 heads in 100 days. That was great practice for me. Thought about doing it. Oh, I wonder how many. No, there's not 100 days left. Sorry. Brain fart. I'm going to start putting in some of this background so I have it to pull from. I hope I got his head high enough. Okay, I'm going to go in there with my kneaded eraser and just move things a little bit. Here's that nice, I love that triangle right there, that highlight on that cheek. That is something portrait artists often try to have. Kind of looks like a judge right now. Go ahead and start. This is where his beard kind of, and then I'm going to just kind of draw that in for my own. And then I'm going to switch back and forth between eraser and. I love Sargent's portraits. There is just something almost magical about them. And this in here would be a soft edge. Just have a long neck. I got some information on him. Sargent and this fellow became good friends. This portrait, for example, I'm gonna come back around to that. I have ADD for real, and so you'll have to just kind of bear with me today. I'm feeling very ADD-ish. This particular portrait is a marvel of Sargent's precision and restraint. You can practically feel Bigelow's introspection in the way the shadows kind of cradle his face here. They're not. I think I got that the eye too big also. Mark that down. Right now I'm just kind of pushing this charcoal that I've already put on there around so that I get some values to work from. You can get vine charcoal at most art supply stores, if not all. I think even Walmart has started carrying it. I'm surprised at how much it's gone up in price since I was in school. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, everything's gone up, but I mean, it's charcoal, you know. You can make your own. There is a way. I have never tried it, and I should have done that yesterday. Oh, sorry, I digress. Our neighbors were burning this huge pile of brush. I mean, huge pile. I mean, they even like notified the neighbors, hey, we're going to do this, so don't call the fire department. But you take a container, you take something like an Altoid tin or even a pipe with like a cap on the end of it, and you drill a hole in one end and throw it into the fire. Oh, well, first you put twigs in it. Sorry. You put like twigs in it and throw it into the fire. Different woods will create different charcoals. But it's fun to, I think it would be fun to try. I don't know why I've never done it. I need to. I really, really need to. We have some brush to burn out there, so. I live in a very rural area, so burning brush is not that unusual. But I will say the neighbors contacted us because it was a huge pile. I'm talking, think of a size of a house. You can start to see it's coming out of all those marks. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get rid of that. It's not perfect, but we're not going for perfection, right? It looks like he kind of has a horn there, but that's his hair. Sargent and Bigelow, the gentleman in the portrait, were actually friends. Both were part of Boston's intellectual elite. Sargent was the cosmopolitan artist, and Bigelow was the spiritual scientist turned art patron. I usually have my laptop sitting over here, but this paper is so large that I move my laptop to a nearby area where I can see it over here. But it's really nice having it on camera and being able to compare it to the reference photo. I will say, if you're interested in portraits, what is her name? There's a new video out on Richard Schmid, who is a well-known realistic artist. I have not watched it yet, but I probably will after I do this. But anyway, I was just giving you a heads up of something you're interested in. It's not my video. It's I think Sharon Lyon. I can look easy enough since I brought it up. Come on. There it is. Susan Lyon. Susan Lyon Fine Art. She put it up 13 hours ago. He looks very young in it. But he gives some wonderful art tips. Usually I'm painting during these streams. But like I said, I need to be drawing more. And so I just thought, you know, let's deal with this way. Yeah, it's too dark, but I'll lighten it up. I've got his eye socket. I've got his face on this side too large. It's all part of it. Just chisel out those shapes. Right now, I'm mainly working on getting his basic, the image on there, and not so much exactly like it. I'll start worrying about details later. Sargent captured his contemplative, slightly austere presence with a simplicity that borders on reverence. There's like I said, it almost looks like a judge. Now, just a reminder on these master studies, I'm not going for an exact copy. It's a study. And you'll find in my videos, I repeat that to myself often. This is a very old blender, so it's got a lot of charcoal already rubbed into it. I'm not swearing on how this is going to turn out because, like I said, it's been a while since I've drawn. I've been doing a lot of painting though. If anybody has any questions, if you're watching it now, feel free to put it in the comments. Or if you're watching the replay, feel free to ask away. I used to carry a ball of this everywhere I went in high school, and it was my fidget toy in retrospect. I didn't know that's what it was when I was carrying it, but it was. It's got a little There. Oops. This is the 2B. I'm going to start with softer. Softer because it's easier to erase. I see his lines going up and down in the shadow area. Let's focus on getting his eyes in here. Whoops. And let's see. There's a slight gray on his forehead, and then there's some highlights right here. So I'm going to just smear this in here and then put in that highlight. Here he's got his marks going this way. Wonder if he's following the form. Now look at this. From my point of view, it almost looks like Thomas Jefferson. At this point, but I'll keep developing it. If you ever get the chance to take a life drawing class, I wish I had, I wish I had a live model often. I got that eye larger. Let's shrink it down. He has a great deal of detail. It looks like in the eyes, but chances are they were just smudges. He just knew how to smudge. And this is do we love our kneaded erasers or what? Must have had a very light colored eyes. Let's see. There's no grand gesture on this, no theatrical lighting, just bold lines and a deep sense of stillness, almost monk-like. I'll make it quiet during some of this because I'm focusing on the work. There will be a replay available. I know setting for a long time. With just me talking can be difficult. And I'm not selling myself short, I know me too. Oftentimes I'll work on other things or having trouble apparently getting the proportions. We'll get there. Right. You hear anything in the background too? It's probably Poncho, the studio dog. He is keeping guard. Again, I'm still doing this really lightly. I'm not pressing down hard. We don't want lines that are really difficult to erase. And this is a 6B again. It's way too light. That's okay. I'm just taking a moment to look at the reference photo and the monitor that you all are seeing. That's still his beard there. Notice there's not a lot of detail in here on his, and this whole area. It's because the eyes and this area are more important to the artist. I've done painting studies of Sargent's work, so I'm not sure how much information to give without just repeating myself. because now this I'm kind of pressing down on, but this is a very soft charcoal. And I'll still be able to manipulate it. If you notice right here, he's just got kind of like gone like that into the background. Or maybe used his eraser to put that in there. I have that way too high. You can buy gloves that will prevent you from getting the charcoal all over you. But see, that's still too high. I would have sworn that that was. I'm just going to keep working on this until I get to a point where I'm satisfied with what I've got. That works too. It's just his collar here. But it's got very soft edges. So I'll just and then this over here is very dark. You can tell the light is coming from this way, and it so it's going to cast a shadow over here and here. He's got charcoal marks, drawing marks in here to define his beard a little bit more. I just realized my father had a nose like that. That was very kind of chiseled. Maybe that's why I, not to get all Freudian on here. Just making that a little darker. I've got this too dark for sure. Just pull some of that out. I might have his head too big. Let's do a soft charcoal and see what it does. Yeah, that's better. It needs to be down there. See where my hand laid. That's how soft this charcoal is, though. I will need to spray this with fixative. Technically, look at how Sargent uses the weight of the line, like this line right here. The rest of all this is very just kind of suggestive, but that gives his clothing a weight right here. You might hear my furnace cutting on. Ideally, I would already have all the proportions and things correct, but I apologize. As I said, I haven't drawn in a little while. But I'm okay with it personally, myself. I'm going to get my mirror so I get a different viewpoint on this. That's what it is. I am pressing down hard there. That's a definite. He doesn't have a whole lot of this side of the face showing. Or much detail in there. And that's intentional, I'm sure. I will eventually get that darn ear. I'm exaggerating those lines just to make sure that I am in the right neighborhood. Kind of like notes to myself. A few practical notes while we work on this. I'm using the side of the charcoal and not the tip. I'm not trying to go in there and get everything, all the details right off the bat. It's all about massing and light and shadow shapes, not outlining features. You're sculpting air, not tracing bones. Quote unquote. And just keep sculpting away on it until I have things how I want them, closer to how he has them. That was my mirror, that noise. It just slipped on my lap. I can see that I've got this I don't know. I'm not happy with it. The proportions look wrong. He needs a wider face. Let me look and see what. Okay, it's right there. There. I took this in too far. I read up a little bit on this man, on Bigelow. He was a physician and then got really into art and started traveling a lot. And incorporating, or became very interested in other cultures' artwork and how they worked. That's very sharp. You don't need that sharp. That was just for my own reference anyway. Got a big old ear on mine, doesn't he? There we go. Now it looks like it sticks out. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that darn ear. And I shouldn't be too worried about the detail of it at this point. But it's sticking out there. It's like it's got its own little zip code. Soften that edge. I'm just going to try and get some of these mid-tones in here. took an eraser in here and just kind of pulled that out. And I see that, like, this eye, it's a little too, going back to using this very lightly. There's kind of a triangle of light in here on the side of the nose. Part of the eye socket here. This has a curve to it that I didn't capture. And you can see there's a lot of shading and highlighting in here that still needs work. What time is it? I've been at it for an hour, including warm up, so I don't feel too bad about this. I see his eyebrows are not consistent. One thing you can do is turn it upside down or sideways. Is it oftentimes used technique to see if you've got it laid out right. I'll be honest, I am still trying to get some of the proportions correct. I don't want to pretend like this is, like I said, I have not drawn in a long time, and I need some. His mouth is wonky. I haven't spent much time at all on it though, so I'm not gonna chastise myself too bad. Are there channels that you all like to watch? Is there another, well, I should say another channel. I'm always open to suggestions. About other channels to watch. You might hear my heater on. This is, I know, fairly academic and not but oftentimes this is how you pick up new skills. Using this eraser in here and seeing how he sculpted things with the values. Now, if I were in practice, I would probably already be done. But because I'm not, it's going to take a little bit for me to get my to get it going again. I'm going to soften that edge. He's got, see what he did was like, I'm not done with this. I'm just giving it a background so I have something to pull from. And again, the light is coming from that direction, so this side is a little darker. It's got kind of a weird, not really cow lip, but something going on in there in his beard. I'm not going to get his medallion in here. Simply because I did not properly, see, that's too long, isn't it? It needs to go more like that. Properly do this composition on my paper. It's not just where the camera falls, it's where it's taped down here. Yeah, I just saw it too. I'm going to, I was hoping to use this as like a time lapse. I don't know if if I'm going to be able to because there's so much movement. Oops, I'll fix that. Oh, it's okay. What I'm mainly checking here is the eyes, or are the eyes. I'm having proportion problems. This really shows me I need to be drawing more. Excuse me. Let's see, that's so I'm just pulling in some of that color or value over here. Very lightly putting that in there because I'm going to pull some of it out. This needs to go up to there. He looks like he has a very stern right eyebrow, and the other one's kind of eh. I thank you for being patient with me while I do this. Let's smear that out a little bit. And then I can pull out the highlights in there. This line, I need it more that way. More of an angle to it. Down a little. And soften that edge up there so he doesn't look so stern. I'm hearing helicopters. guess it's just a plain. Yeah, see, I should have had, if my skills were up to date and I was performing like I should be, I would be finishing it up. But that's not where we are today. Oh, I was going to tell you some more things about Sargent's techniques. You know what? Let me take a quick break and I will. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to take a quick break and grab some cheese or something. I can feel my blood sugar getting a little wonky. We don't want wonky. You can kind of see where he's got this drawn out. He probably did that long ago on here when he was first laying it out. I do have a white charcoal that I can use for some of these highlights. If the paper has gone a little too grayed. So Korean, what are you up to today? What's everybody up to today? It's beautiful here. The sun's out. I don't hear the wind blowing. It's just not bad at all. I don't have his eyes dark enough. When I look at it in the monitor, it's his eyes have a lot more contrast. I know I said I was going to take a break. I did read a few things suggesting that Sargent may have been gay or bisexual, but he was very private about his personal life. But who knows, you know, they have, it seems like if a man didn't marry, they would automatically assume but it's interesting, I think. I like learning things about their personal lives. Maybe it's the voyeur in me. I'm not done with this yet, so I'm not chastising myself too much for things. Let me see. Keep your eraser as active as your charcoal. He used a kneaded eraser like a beam of light, lifting out highlights and sharpening edges rather than correcting mistakes. Think of subtraction as another form of drawing. Watch the edge hierarchy. He softened edges that turned away from the light, and he punched crisp contrast at the focal points, often around the eyes and the brow. Ooh. Say that because I got that a little weird in there. Work large if you can. His portrait drawings were often around 22 by 18 inches, big enough to move from the shoulder, not the wrist. I'm sitting down while I'm doing this, so if I were working at the easel, I would. But I do need that reminder to move, at least from my elbow and not my wrist. It keeps it looser. It keeps the marks a lot fresher. And I see I got, let me just lighten that just for my own. It's a study, not a copy. I'm just smearing that a little bit because he's got it pretty solid in a lot of those areas. But he only goes out to about here. I've got it going out too far. Like I said, this is more just for my own I want these marks just to kind of look like his. The great thing about this paper, this particular paper, is this edge. I can pop it back into the sketchbook, which is nice because it keeps them all together. I had a pastel in there I forgot about. Anyway, don't over finish. Sargent stopped as soon as the image breathed on its own. He'd rather leave it whispering than overwork it into silence. I like that. I like that phrasing. You'll see that, like I said, the back here that's away from the light is not, looser. Details are few and far between. Let's erase that a little bit. I got this in my hand. I see though that I need to do this. So he doesn't have top. Let's see. I'm looking at the drawing and what you have, what you're seeing. I have a friend that lives overseas. Her parents used to own the craft store where I grew up. And the other day I found a tube that I think I might have gotten there. If not, it's about the same age. I don't want to pull those out completely white, except for right there. I'm still hearing Taylor Swift in my brain. I will say I do not consider this my best work, but going to allow myself a little grace. I am using the side of the charcoal here. Or the tip, I'm sorry. Because the lip line right there. I think I got that a little too low. Just gonna smudge that out and go back in. It looks like he used an eraser to get a couple of highlights in here, but I got too many. I know I said I was going to take a break, didn't I? We won't tell anybody. I'm going to work on getting a little more similarity. Between mine and his, rather than just a likeness. me in this darn ear. He has, I don't think I can get it with my kneaded eraser. I got this a little too light. He has highlights on his eyes, and I don't think I can get it with my kneaded eraser. So I'm going to put it in there with that. Yeah, that was a little much. This is one reason that vine charcoal is so nice to start with. It's because it just lifts up so easy. Usually. And it seems like in the past, when I was really doing these, I did not use the white pencil already, or the charcoal pencil. That was Poncho. This is really good practice. Not necessarily just Sargent, but any study you choose to do. I really find it helpful. And I mean, this is something that's long been done by artists. I've been choosing artists that I think are a little bit too obscure. And I figured Sargent. We all love Sargent. Anyway, if there's an artist that you would like to see, let me know, please, and I will see what I can do. Or just put it in the comments about who's your favorite artist. Who inspires you the most? I don't know why, but that made me remember the episode of Doctor Who, where Van Gogh comes back. If you haven't seen it, there's a clip of it online. On YouTube. Yep, I'm still hearing Taylor Swift in my brain. And I said, hey, thank you for the lovely bouquet. Get some of these highlights out. This has like a curve to it. His bottom eyelid is I'm still using the 6B, by the way, of pencil. So it's still fairly malleable. I'm going to try and get that, that cowlick or whatever that is in his chin right here. I say that and then I start working on his eyes again. Sorry. I see this I didn't get correct. He's got one down here, one here, and there. And then over here he's got, ooh, that's not very good either. And he's even got, excuse me just a second. Since we're drawing Bigelow, we've got the bonus layer of character, the inward meditative calm, so we need to let the tones taper off into quiet space. He's the kind of setter who seems to sort of retreat into himself, even as you watch him. I wonder what's going through his noggin. He sounds like he was a very intelligent man. Hey, Heather. Ooh, I want some caffeine. I want some coffee. I'm using vine charcoal, kneaded erasers, and charcoal pencils. I'm doing a master study of Sargent. This was a friend of his called Bigelow. Alright, I think that's enough to get the charcoal moving and the eyes tuned in. You can already feel the warm-ups. Oh, well, that's something else. We're warmed up now, completely. I was saying, Heather, I haven't drawn a lot lately. I've been primarily doing painting. So, this is... It took me a while to get warmed up, I think. We were working from big shapes to little shapes. And we're trying to use economy of line. He did not have, you know, like this down here, suggest his clothing. He did not go into too much detail on things. Again, especially if it was away from the light. I shouldn't have more coffee. I've had... Could use some tea, though. Speaking of Bigelow, I have Bigelow tea in there. No graphite this time. It's just charcoal. I figured, since it's been a while since I have drawn, and I wanted to do a master study, that this just made sense. because, you know, Sargent. Can't go wrong with Sargent. Mass contours, like you can see in here, the shapes. Instead of outlining everything, he let value do the describing. I purchased a book online on Amazon that had nothing but his drawings in it. I should have gotten it out. I know that looks messy up there now. Smear that in a little. Contrast is conversation. Notice how his darks and his lights speak to each other. There's not, you can't have one without the other, obviously, but he really makes them work together. That edge should be softer, but I don't have it shaped correctly either. Gesture and attitude. Even though this figure is very still, the gesture lines that he uses, you know, even in the background of just getting it in, is, switch over to my fine charcoal. I love fine charcoal. Have I mentioned that? I think I've mentioned that. I tend to get very absorbed in the news these days, and picking up my drawing practice again would be a good way to avoid that. I can just picture him in front of an easel doing this, just going back and forth looking at it and observing all those lights and darks. taking things out, putting them back. Oops, you know what? This should be more up here. That's an easy fix. I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking. This over here should be much darker than when I got it. I think it's just my hand and all on it. Let's see. Yeah, it says if you want your work to look like his, use fine charcoal or a soft graphite pencil on toned paper and resist the urge to fix too much. Let the mistakes hum quietly under the surface. Don't make the piece breathe. So don't get too hung up about where his highlights are. I do need to go get me something to keep saying that, and then I just like keep working on it. I have a really hard time shifting gears, shifting focus, rather. This edge being over a little too far is weighing on the image. The gray tones are still kind of there. You can't see them, I don't think, on the camera. I'm wondering. I have a tendency to get parts certain parts out of proportion, and it's the neck or the collarbone area and eyes. One eye will often be too high or too low. So I'm wondering if I've done that on this one. Just something I'm thinking about. See how that is just very, very loosely done. But like this, I think it needs to come up. I've got it too large. I think me walking away for just a minute is going to be a good thing because I need fresh eyes. She says as she keeps working. Yeah, you can see that line that I put in there at the very first, right here. He's got some beard marks over here. Tone those down a little bit. This here. has like a rectangle right here. Do I still have his head too far up? Let's see. Trying to find something I can measure with. Then I will no, I don't have it too high. This needs to be yeah, I can keep working on this and get it almost too tight. For a Sargent. I just don't want to quit working on it. Sargent was an expat that lived in France. His parents were U.S. citizens. His father was a doctor, which may be the connection between Bigelow and him also, because he was a physician. He was born in Florence, Italy, and spent most of his time in Europe. His family was actually on vacation when he was born, and he only visited the U.S. later on in his adult life. But most of the time he was in Europe. Ouch. Yeah, I think I do have this part a little too low. But I'm going to leave it. I think it would look too overworked if I tried to move it and shift it up a little bit. At this point, just trying to get his edges. But yeah, if I had to do it, if I had to make any corrections, it would be moving this up. As you can see, this should be up here. I wonder if it'll lift up for me. I can always put it back if it doesn't. Ooh, look at that. Look at that, look at that. So now I need it. Need a shadow there anyway. Wonder if I can get this lifted. Part of it. I don't know if you can see what I'm working on this little bitty is it a metal? I think it's a metal of some sort. I should know what that is. Since I'm drawing his portrait. This over here should be more gestural. So I'm just going to lift that up and then like that. This is opposite of what he's got. I think his were the positive areas and not the negative, if that makes sense. It looks, I have it too far out. You can tell it's harvest season around here of some sort because I can hear the trains. I never hear the trains. Besides painting and drawing, Sargent was also an excellent pianist. and deeply immersed in the arts. I saw some artwork, by the way, that my granddaughter did for the weekend. She did her own Halloween costume. So cool. It was so cool. Let's see. He avoided interviews and public speeches whenever possible and rarely spoke about his personal feelings or inner life. He was charming, but not especially social, unless among close friends. See, there was no public record of a romantic relationship. That doesn't mean he didn't have any. And he never married. Later on, he started resenting his portrait commissions, calling them a pimp's profession. He eventually stepped away from the world to paint watercolors, murals, and landscapes, his free art. I don't know if any of you have ever worked on commissions, but they can be rough. Depending on the client. I no longer do commissions. It's just too soul-sucking, I guess, for me. To me. He died suddenly in 1925 of heart failure at the age of 69. Just as he was preparing to travel to Boston to oversee his mural installation. His reputation only grew after his death, especially among realists and painters obsessed with brushwork. And we can see why, even though this is a drawing. But he was very into making expressive marks. Sorry if that squeaking sound too is hard for anybody. mark way too dark. I'm a poet and didn't know it. As I said, I'm doing this more for my own benefit because I need to be drawing more. So I may be doing more master studies of drawings. If anybody, yeah, again, if anybody has anybody that they want to see, ooh, that makes it look like he's got, I don't know, I got that wrong for starters. Even though I'm doing this very selfishly, if I honestly don't know where I was going with that. Oops, I got these highlight in the wrong spot. Some more up here. Let's see. I don't think that looks too bad. I am going to go just here and there with this white pencil. I still haven't gotten up. And I know it'll do nothing but benefit from me getting up. It's a conundrum. I don't know. I don't think I have his head shaped right. But I'm not going to stress over it too much. Oops. Come on, baby. He's got this pretty much straight up and down. I don't. I think he takes it to right about there, though. So this down here. I'm going to take this tape off here. And do that bottom part. Because that is going to bug the heck out of me. Let's see. Try to lift up some of that so I can get that in there. You know what would be really fun? Do 100 studies in 100 days. Just saying. See, his head to me is still shaped wrong, and I can't pinpoint it. Maybe it's just this dark shadow over here that's throwing me off. Perhaps. Maybe. Maybe. Could be. I don't know. Now I think I'm picking away at it too much. I need to do what I said I've been gonna do for the last hour and just take a break. Walk in the other room and come back. Even that little bit would probably help me. I think I've got that too. That was too dark. Yeah, but that means I have to get up, Heather. And stop what I'm doing. fun in that? I will. I am. I'm going to get up. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm looking at it. This right here is too dark. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I think I've got his face thinner is what's doing it to me. Because I'm at an angle, I think. I think. I'll have it when you're ready. I gave Poncho a treat and got myself an iced coffee and a piece of cheese and some chips. Iced coffee. I can see, for one thing, this little highlight I put here needs to be up here. Yeah, I like General's little sets. They come in handy. That's one thing I can get around here that art supply wise. looking at it. I'm looking. Oh, thank you, Heather. That's sweet of you to say. That squeaking sound is me taking the wrapper off my cheese. Poncho wants a bite of it. He's spoiled. You know, maybe this is where I need to just remind myself that it's a study. Not a copy. Let me see here. I changed screens so I can see it. Bless you! So I can see it bigger. Yeah, his head, the top of his head, I think is... I'm just rotating things real quick. I'm going to have to be done by 3 o'clock. That's the deadline I'm giving myself. Whatever I've got at 3 o'clock is what I have. I think I've got, from looking at it, I don't have the eyes quite as dark, as shaded. The shape is there, but I don't have it dark enough. You bought some here and there on clearance when I lived across the street. Oh, wow. Oh, that would be fun. Oh, that would just, yeah. I was talking earlier about, we had a little craft store. Honey, it's all gone. It's all gone. All gone. Oh, wait, you have another treat. Thank you. Sorry about that. We had a little craft store in our hometown, and I could actually get art supplies there when I was a teenager. And the girl, the daughter of the people that owned it, was a grade ahead of me, and we never really talked much. But she's living overseas, and we've been talking a lot on Facebook Messenger, which is really neat, I think. Somebody that's known me that long ago. You know, it might have been... Oh, you mean yours? Oh, that would be awesome. Awesome. I remember those. I remember the catalogs we would get in the classrooms. Did I I just mess it up? Anyway, her it's just nice. Somebody that and never thought of it really until now. But one of the first people that I knew in Coffeyville growing up, he lived like 2 doors down. He his wife was a coworker of mine a few years ago. Small world. Well, I guess I think the main thing I'm doing now is just increasing the contrast on things. What time is it? Oh, I've got 10 minutes. Will I make it? Okay. Whoops, my battery on my phone's going dead. Whoops. I've got my iPad on a stand here. I don't know. Whoops. Where'd you go? There you are. We used to have a Ben Franklin store in that town too, which was kind of nice. Not that they had a lot of art supplies per se. I think my image shows things a little lighter than the way they're showing up on the monitor picture, the reference that you all see. The contrast isn't quite as high. Looking at this right here too, it looks a little... This was a good segue into doing sketches again. I was just seeing if I was checking in on something. But Sargent has so many reference images online that people can draw from. I may pull out a couple of my reference books. My problem though is, how is that going to help me with art show work? I know it'll help in the long run, but I'm going to soften that edge so it's more... I remember ordering from Pearls at, for school, for student teaching stuff. Back in the day. That ear is still bugging me. Ooh, I thought I had 15 minutes left. It snuck up on me. I've got like 5 minutes max. He had just a little line there, barely perceptible. I think his eyes are squintier. His eyes are, yeah. They're not as bright as what I have here, but that's the way they look to me, so. I am going to go with it. goodness, Poncho. Ooh, that was too big. We can fix that though. I am going to drive myself crazy worrying about little things on this. So I think I do it. I see this mark is too high. It should be right down there. And this should be more at this angle. Thank goodness for vine charcoal. It's a little closer. Now I'm getting into where I'm wanting to do like every little detail exactly like his, and that was not the point. It's a study, not a copy. I'm waiting for my hand to move on the screen so I can see what's underneath there. Okay. This in here needs some work. I don't think it's too bad. It's not exactly, you know, but I can live with that. I haven't drawn in a long time. It was intended to get my drawing juices flowing again. I think that's too white. But that's easy to remedy. Oh, it is after 3. I did not eat. Man, that time just flew. I see this needs to be brought down. Or at least darkened. It stands out way too much. No. This week are my last sprints on my other channel for heart breathings. Tomorrow and Thursday are my last ones. But I think it's going to be good. As far as not doing them. I could even considered canceling this week, but I figured I've already committed. So I'm already locked in. I keep looking back and forth from the monitor to this. I can see some differences, but it's not supposed to be a copy, right? It is a study. I always have to remind myself. And I see something else. This right here. I'm starting to get tied down into many of the little details that don't really matter. And I'm going to overwork it. Trying really hard to get that mark off there. Okay, I need to walk away. Walk away. What is that song? Walk Away, Joe? Okay. I'm putting stuff down. Oh, I see something I did. His head up here. Let's see where I fixed that. Woo! Heather's also going to walk away from computer a sec, but I've been pretty productive. Good deal. Good job, Heather. I do say so. Right now I'm watching myself. On the screen. Oh, I see something that's off. This in here, I don't have it as dark right here. But This is one of my big problems, not being able to shift gears. I'm into something. I'll see you in 4 hours type of a thing. I don't think this has enough to it. Oops. That's a technical term. Whoop. Oh, man. Okay. Well, where I had my hand. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have a time lapse of this or not, because I moved it around so much on the screen. But this is what we've got. My battery is about to go dead. Oh, I have a plug-in right there. It just fell out. This is how my hands always looked in high school. Much younger, though. I'm just pulling my materials out here because I've got like stuff strung out. All right, I am going to let y'all go. Thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all, and I hope to see you soon. Take care and be safe, and I will catch you on the next one.